Hello, this is Zach Null. This is for CIS113, Data Management in SQL. Today we'll be going over Figure 2.8 in Oracle Instance. Starting at the top, we have some background processes. This is just taken out of the reading. The background processes interact with the operating system and each other to manage the memory structures for the instance. These processes also manage the actual database on disk and perform general housekeeping for the instance. That's actually all of these little squares, but I'm going to start top to bottom. So up top we have the system monitor, the process monitor, and the recover. The process monitor and the recover are pretty much used for cleanup in failure or crash instances. The system monitor maintains pretty much the overall health and everything for the system. And it also performs the crash recovery when the instance is started after a failure. Moving down, we have our SGA, or System Global Area, which is made up of a couple different areas. The database buffer cache, the shared pool, and the redo log buffer. These are all pretty much just used to improve overall performance. They store, each of their own file types, so to speak. So it's quicker than recalling them from the disks, so it can just be used right away by the user. The database buffer cache is used to store the copies of the data that's retrieved from the data files. It's stored there, and then at a later date and time it's written down to the disk and can be used for faster recall. The shared pool is actually made up of two different sections, which are a library cache and a dictionary cache. The library stores commonly used SQL and PL SQL statements and is managed by a least recently used algorithm to recall most commonly used things for the users. It's shared amongst the users, and then the dictionary cache is actually used for recalling information about like objects, like definitions in the database, like columns, indexes, user privileges, stuff like that. The redo log buffer is a area for storing redo files before it's written down to the redo log, and it keeps it there until it's a more optimal time for the disk to write it down below in the picture. Next, we have four more background processes. First is the database writer. Next would be our checkpoint. Then we have log writer and the archive. The database writer writes the blocks from the database into the SGA to the data files on the disk. It's what brings everything down into the stores it into the data files for the table spaces. The checkpoint updates the data files and the headers whenever a checkpoint is performed. And next you have the log writer, which writes the redo information, and kind of controls all that going into there. And then, Next we have the archiver, which reads the redo log files and writes a copy of the used redo log files to the specified destination. At the bottom we have the three file types that Oracle uses, data files, control files, and redo log files. And the data file is the files that correspond with the table spaces. They are what make it up. Your redo log files are the redo entries, and it can be used for recovery. And then your control files store your information about your physical structure, your data file size, and your redo log file locations and stuff like that. And that's an Oracle instance. Have a good day.